So I'm going to introduce Deepak Mittal. He's one of our partners here at LJ Advise. I've been working with him for some time. This really just transitions from Mayo Clinic platform, giving you, Dr. John Halemka's view on the world, what they're doing to help, especially provider organizations and HIT companies transition from current state to being able to adopt these advanced technologies with AI. Deepak, we're going to let him introduce himself in a minute, but they come from a deep background in AI where they do a lot of B2B, but also work directly with health systems as well. And he spends all of his time helping others make that transition, but from sort of I look at it from the vendor space, right? So now we've gone from a provider organization, we're transferring over and transitioning over to a company, NextGen AI, who has done an amazing job helping others make these transitions. But I'm going to let Deepak, why don't you introduce yourself, because I won't do you justice, and then we can jump into some questions.
Thank you very much, Larry. My name is Deepak Mittal. I'm the CEO of NextGen Invent. NextGen Invent is a data science, AI and technology services company, specifically for healthcare and life sciences company. My specialty lies in transforming organizations into AI-enabled organizations. I have led many strategic initiatives for companies like DataVent, Tough Medical Center, and many private equity companies. I've been a technology advisor to various companies who have actually grown from a startup to unicorn or achieve successful exits. I am actually member of board of directors of many companies, including a VC firm, a management consulting, and IoT firm, and currently serving in the board of CMR Institute and Columbia Business School Alum Club of New York. And regarding actually the NextGen Invent, the NextGen Invent is a 17-year-old company, and it's actually one of the fastest growing company as per the INC 5000. And it has a robust portfolio, which actually also include creation of more than 500 AI models. We have been building these models from 2009, actually. And the 20 plus AI roadmaps, successful execution of 550 projects, and more than 100 SaaS products which are actually in the market has been developed by us. So glad to be here.
And that's why I let you introduce yourself. You've been so busy for many, many, many years. And just for context for others here, like I mentioned, he's a partner of ours, and watch him firsthand solve really incredibly complex problems and make it so simple. But that's the simple part, is creating the actual solution itself. It's everything else around it. That's the harder part, right? So let's jump in a little bit to that. So, we heard from John Halemka and his point of view. I'm going to ask you very similar questions. In fact, very similar questions. I just want to get your point of view when it comes to working with IT vendors. So you've done a tremendous amount of work with IT vendors out there trying to move their technology from current state, leveraging AI where it makes sense to do mostly automation. And that's what I see most of it, right? We're trying to cut down, we're trying to increase our employee satisfaction because we can't keep staffing at the right levels. And it's very important. By the way, it also is doing a tremendous amount of work for us. And that affects our bottom line in a positive way. You've helped shepherd this so many times with so many different companies. If I'm a young HIT company right now, I have a great solution, but I see AI as a technology to help me further automate solutions for my provider organizations. What are some key things when you're starting off that you really need to think about? And then some advice on where to go from there as a pathway, just to start. I'm at starting blocks. How do I get from starting blocks around the track once?
I think this is a very broader question, actually, Larry. in my opinion, it always starts with the right problem. And of course, there are actually different frameworks. You might actually have a problem like John mentioned that, okay, I'm basically trying to improve the reduce the burnout. I'm basically trying to improve the revenue and things of that nature. So there are actually three methodologies which we basically use in that. But if I have to give advice on how to actually be successful in their AI solutions, I would basically say that data is oil. And really, if you hear John saying, he is repeatedly saying the same thing, is that data ecosystem. You cannot do it alone. That's why the data ecosystem is important. In healthcare, AI success is very much dependent on the data, its quality, its availability. Workflow integration, you mentioned that. That workflow integration is important, and also ease of use and AI trust and adoption. And but everybody know those things, so I won't go a lot more in detail of those. But I would basically share my 5 experience of building different AI models, which I think can be very helpful for the audience. One is that not all the answers actually lies in the AI model accuracy or AI model itself. Or I would say that all the answers doesn't lie in the science. Many times the answers lies in the process systems. I will give you an example for that reason. So when we were building actually a solution for Dr. Susan Love Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which got actually funding from National Institute of Health, we were building an algorithm which can tell whether the woman has breast cancer or not using low resolution ultrasound images. So we were trying to improve the accuracy of the model. It's very important, right? This is a life and death kind of situation. But we don't want any woman who basically has breast cancer actually going undetected. But at the same time, we worked actually with the healthcare workers. That can you, instead of taking one image, can you take 2 or 3 images? So what I'm trying to say is that one is the AI model accuracy, but we actually have to strive for AI solution accuracy. By having multiple images, actually that helped in improving the accuracy. The second learning, if I may basically say, that many times we are obsessed with AI model accuracy when we need not to be. It's counterintuitive. Means if I'm doing things, then it has to be accurate. When like how it can be wrong, but actually it depends on the purpose of the AI. Let me take an example. We were working for actually a pharma company, and we were trying to figure it out. What are the reasons why patients are actually moving from oral to injectables? And in that, when we built the model, it was actually giving us the reason and approximate percentage of those reasons. And we find it out that even if that percentage is off by 2% or 5%, our decision to build a strategy that how that company can increase the market share of that drug is not going to change. So we stop working and put our efforts more on actually analyzing what we had and then drafting the strategy for that. The third actually, which is I would say very controversial, is companies think that the competitive edge will come from AI. And sometimes I actually back to differ in that case, because I basically believe that it is actually the AI, because it is coming from the right data, it has the right system integration, and it has the ease of use. Adoption, John also actually highlighted a lot more on the trust and adoption itself as well. I will give an example. We were building actually healthcare AI assistant, and that was actually giving real-time answers to the users. The moment we integrated it with the workflow and the solution and the product which they were using, not one time, 2 times, multiple times the adoption of the AI actually went up. And when we were giving, and simple things actually mattered at that point of time. When we were giving the answers, we were giving actually, okay, somebody asked for a process step, for example, how to do this. We were giving them like 10 steps, do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But then we changed it that, okay, let's give only the step 1. And then on the voice prompt, give the step 2. So now they were able to do the work hands-free a lot more. And that actually increased the adoption. And then basically, really, the ROI of any AI is directly proportional to adoption, actually, by an nth degree of exponential. So it doesn't go like a straight line, it's like a jayhawking.
Right.
The fourth, I would basically say that we look for ROI in the AI, but sometimes we have to ignore that. What I mean by that is, let's take an example. Many times the fringe benefits are very hard to quantify. We got actually engaged into a government challenge called Triage, which is actually a consortium in which Carnegie Mellon University and many other reputed organizations are actually part of. We are trying to solve a problem which is unique and complex. But the idea is that it's not like I could prove the ROI of my effort over there, but I know we will learn a lot more in that process, that the new era of AI solutions we can bring to the market with less risk. So can I quantify that? I think I couldn't quantify it. And that decision was not based on the ROI, in at least in that particular case for us.
Right.
And the fifth thing is actually like when outside.
That point real quick, and I'll let you get back to your fifth point. That's an interesting topic because, obviously talked to a lot of C-levels at facilities, and there's a lot of pressure on them nowadays to have a hard ROI rather than a soft ROI, meaning that, hey, the number of hours we're going to make up, and the notion there is, and which is true, we don't need to react to it, but just to be, put our minds on it, is the fact that, no one can get the staffing levels they actually want right now. So if you're able to make them more efficient, they're probably not going to eliminate jobs of those who work well. They're going to reassign some work. They're going to be able to do more, etc. So there's one thing that we need to think about when we're putting together, what are the benefits of actually going down this road? Sometimes are benefiting things that aren't even part of that project, if that makes sense. If I can use some of those hours towards something else, it gets a little more complex. But anyway.
I will agree with you, Larry. And what I'm basically advocating is that 95% of your projects are based on that. But you have actually, if you have a room and if you want to really be the leader and not the follower, in that case, there has to be a small percentage of your diseases which you can see a bigger picture and then see those fringe benefits and make those POCs, and so that you can actually learn in that particular process. And then you can actually define the ROI, and then you can start the new bigger project. So I completely agree that it's not you should ignore the ROI, but it's just you have some room for a small percentage of the very forward-looking initiatives as well. The fifth point I would actually mention is that when AI outsourcing makes sense. In my opinion, that AI field is very vast. It is changing and it's expanding at lightning speed. 3 years ago, before November 2022, not too many people were actually talking about generative AI. Now, actually, you see with OpenAI, Google, Meta, they have actually given us the products, the base products, which can actually help us build actually the solutions which we could not cost effectively think of making 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago. So from that perspective, if you are a large organization, you have a large AI team, it will make sense. But if you are actually a small organization, building the AI team internally may be actually very cost prohibitive, because in that particular case, you can actually hire another company which actually has the skills, experience, and things of that nature. And you basically bring the competitive edge, not because you have built that AI algorithm, but you actually have really built that AI algorithm in that workflow, ease of use, system integration. Those are the kind of things. And the data, which is actually really you have taken, actually say, I'm going to refer MCP, Mayo Clinic platform, just a short form of that. You maybe have taken that, but you still actually have a lot of real world data which you can actually also use, or other data which so that you can make it also unique for your AI algorithm as well.